The hidden chain. You believe people stay because they love you. That's the illusion. Machiavelli knew the truth. They stay because they fear losing what you give them, or fear the punishment if they don't. Every relationship hides a chain. The only question is this: are you the one holding it or the one bound by it? This is not a comfortable truth. It cuts against everything you've been told about relationships, loyalty, and trust. But comfort has never been the path to power. And if you're here, watching this, it means you're not searching for comfort, you're searching for control. Machiavelli's world was not a fairy tale. It was filled with betrayal, ambition, and ruthless competition. Florence, in the 16th century, was a city of masks, where smiles hid daggers and every handshake carried the risk of poison. He watched rulers rise to glory only to fall in disgrace because they misunderstood one thing: human nature. And that nature hasn't changed. We want to believe in loyalty, gratitude, and pure love. But strip away the layers of fantasy, and you'll find the same machinery that Machiavelli saw centuries ago. People are driven by self-interest, by fear, and by the silent chains of necessity. Ignore this, and you will lose power. Understand it, and you can hold anyone in your grip. The first truth: affection is weak, fear is strong. Machiavelli wrote one of his most infamous lines: "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Most people misinterpret this. They think it means cruelty for its own sake, as if fear is about striking terror into others. But that's not what he meant. Fear, in Machiavelli's sense, is about predictability. Love is fickle. It fades, it shifts, it dies with time or temptation. But fear of losing something, fear of punishment, fear of consequences, that endures. It binds more tightly than affection ever could. Look at modern relationships. How many people stay in a job they hate, not because they love it, but because they fear unemployment? How many remain in relationships not out of passion, but because they fear loneliness, financial ruin, or social shame? Fear holds people longer than affection does. Now ask yourself, in your own life, are you creating bonds based on fleeting love or unbreakable necessity? The mask of love. Here's the trap. People will always tell you love is the chain. They'll swear devotion, promise gratitude, and swear loyalty in return for your kindness. But Machiavelli knew those words are masks. Love is cheap to say, expensive to keep. Gratitude dies the moment opportunity appears, and loyalty without necessity, it evaporates like smoke. Machiavelli warned princes never to rely on the loyalty of mercenaries or allies who had nothing to lose by betrayal. Why? Because without necessity, loyalty is a performance, not a reality. Translate this into today's world. If someone is only bound to you by affection, then the moment a better offer comes, they'll leave. It's not cruelty, it's human nature. So ask yourself this: how many people in your circle are tied to you by love alone? And how quickly would those bonds break if tested? The hidden chain in every relationship. Think of it this way. Every bond has two chains: the visible chain of love and the hidden chain of fear or necessity. One is soft, fragile, easily broken. The other is iron. In politics, the hidden chain is dependence. Those who rely on your protection, your money, or your influence cannot leave you without destroying themselves. In business, the hidden chain is necessity. Employees don't stay for affection. They stay because their survival depends on your paycheck. In relationships, the hidden chain is fear. Fear of losing status, stability, or the life you provide. And here's the darkest truth of all. If you are not the one forging the chain, you are the one wearing it. The Machiavellian choice. So here is the first ruthless decision you must face. Do you want people bound to you by affection or by necessity? Because affection will make you feel good, but necessity will make you untouchable. Machiavelli himself was not a romantic. He watched rulers who believed in love crumble. He watched generals destroyed by misplaced trust. And he concluded that the one who rules through necessity holds the stronger hand. This does not mean cruelty. It does not mean abuse. It means understanding human nature so well that you never build on sand, you build on stone. But even if you forge chains of necessity, there is another danger: flattery. Machiavelli warned that the ruler who listens too eagerly to sweet words is already doomed, because while chains hold others to you, lies can blind you. And once you are blind, every chain you built can be broken in an instant. That is part 2. Machiavelli's brutal warning about the poison of flattery. The poison of flattery. If the first chain of control is necessity, the second danger is the poison of flattery. Chains hold others to you, but flattery blinds you. And blindness is the fastest path to ruin. Machiavelli saw rulers fall not because their enemies outsmarted them, but because they drowned in the honeyed words of those closest to them. Praise is the most seductive poison, because it feels good, because it soothes doubt, because it whispers that you are greater than you really are. But here's the catch: praise is rarely honest. Behind flattery, there is always an agenda, and the one who listens too closely is already preparing his own downfall. The ancient trap Machiavelli wrote, "There is no other way of guarding oneself against flattery than letting men understand that you are not offended by the truth." But he also warned that even this is dangerous, because if you invite honesty, most will still lie, and a few will wound you with truth disguised as loyalty. Consider emperors of Rome who surrounded themselves with flatterers, telling them they were gods. It felt good until assassins proved otherwise. Or the kings of Renaissance Italy who believed their own invincibility, fed by courtiers eager to keep their place at court. They ruled in comfort until war came and revealed their weakness. Flattery is the soft pillow that suffocates the powerful in their sleep. The modern mask of praise. Do you think flattery is only for kings? Look around. The employee who tells their boss every idea is brilliant, hiding their own ambition until the time is right. The partner who showers compliments while quietly resenting you, waiting for leverage. The friend who praises you in public but sharpens daggers in private. Every compliment carries a question. Is this truth, or is it manipulation? The harsh truth: most people would rather deceive you with sweet lies than confront you with bitter truths. And if you let yourself be addicted to those lies, you will never see betrayal coming. The flattery addiction. Why is flattery so dangerous? Because it feeds your ego. And ego is the enemy of perception. Once you believe you are smarter than everyone, stronger than rivals, immune to betrayal, you have already lost. You no longer see the cracks forming in your armor. You no longer see the chains loosening around others. You are blind because you chose to believe the lies. Flattery turns the powerful into children, dependent on reassurance, unable to face reality. And in that weakness, the ambitious find their opportunity. The Machiavellian counter to flattery. So, how do you defend yourself? Machiavelli gave 3 brutal strategies. Invite controlled honesty. Do not let everyone speak freely. Choose a few trusted voices whose loyalty you can test. Let them tell you the truth, not because they are kind, but because they cannot afford to deceive you. Distrust all excess. The more extravagant the praise, the more dangerous the motive. Test the flatterer. Give them small tasks where lies will cost them and truth will benefit them. Watch carefully. The mask will always slip under pressure. In short, keep your ears open, but your heart cold. Listen, but never depend. The uneasy question. Now, look inward. Who around you praises you most often? Who always agrees with you, never questions you, never resists? Do you think that's loyalty, or do you think it's strategy? This is where Machiavelli's genius lies. He knew the most dangerous enemy is not the one who insults you, it's the one who praises you, the one who tells you exactly what you want to hear, the one who lulls you into blindness until the knife slips between your ribs. The second brutal lesson. If you let flattery control your perception, every other chain you've built will fail. People bound to you by necessity will see your blindness and exploit it. Enemies will grow bold because you no longer see them. Allies will drift away because they know you are drunk on illusions. The ruler who falls to flattery does not fall in battle. He falls in silence, never even realizing he was defeated until the throne is already gone. But if flattery blinds you, the next poison humiliates you. Machiavelli warned that open defiance, those who dare to resist you directly, must never be tolerated. Because the moment one voice of rebellion is ignored, 100 more will follow. That is part 3, the ruthless truth about why tolerating defiance is the first step to losing everything. The disease of defiance. If flattery blinds you, defiance exposes you. Machiavelli warned that nothing spreads faster than rebellion once it is tolerated. One voice of resistance, if unchecked, becomes a chorus. And once the chorus begins, silence is no longer possible. Defiance is not merely disagreement. It is a direct challenge to your authority. And the way you handle the first spark determines whether it dies quietly or ignites into wildfire. The spark that burns thrones, Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must crush rebellion before it grows, for when it is perceived in its beginning, it is easy to remedy. But if you wait, it becomes incurable." History proves him right. Kings lost kingdoms not because of overwhelming armies, but because they tolerated the first whispers of defiance. Caesar ignored senators who resisted him, and they sharpened their knives. Monarchs dismissed the anger of peasants until revolution erupted. Leaders overlooked one disobedient general and soon faced mutiny. Defiance is never just one act. It is an invitation for others to test you. Modern sparks of defiance. Today, defiance is everywhere. It is the employee who disobeys you in front of others, the partner who mocks your decisions openly, the friend who laughs at your authority, daring you to react. It may seem harmless, even small, but the eyes of others are always watching. If you tolerate one act of defiance, you are silently granting permission for others to follow. Defiance tolerated is weakness advertised. Why defiance must be crushed? Why is defiance so contagious? Because it reveals vulnerability. If someone challenges you and you do nothing, you announce to the world, "My power can be tested." And once people realize your power can be tested, it inevitably will be tested again and again until it breaks. This is why Machiavelli insisted that rulers act swiftly, decisively, even ruthlessly against defiance, not to punish the rebel, but to send a message to everyone else. Resistance is futile. The modern example. Think about business leaders. The CEO who ignores public challenges from subordinates soon finds their authority dissolved. The moment one worker dares to speak against them, others gain courage. Meetings spiral, respect erodes. Or in relationships, once your partner openly disrespects you without consequence, that pattern grows. Small acts of defiance escalate until the relationship is no longer balanced. You are no longer respected. You are tolerated, and tolerance is the slow death of influence. The Machiavellian counter to defiance. So, how do you handle defiance? Machiavelli's answer is chillingly simple. Crush it early. The first spark must be extinguished immediately. Waiting only strengthens the defiant. Make it public. A quiet correction does not send a message. A decisive response warns others not to follow. Reward obedience. Just as punishment must be seen, loyalty must also be seen. People should know both the price of rebellion and the reward of loyalty. In short, never let defiance breathe. The uneasy question. Now ask yourself, where in your life have you tolerated defiance? Who has openly resisted you without consequence? Think about the long-term effect of that silence. Has respect eroded? Have others grown bolder? Have you lost influence by choosing comfort over confrontation? Machiavelli would say, if so, you are already weakened, and your enemies can smell it. The third brutal lesson, defiance tolerated is power surrendered. The ruler who fails to punish rebellion becomes the architect of his own collapse. Because authority is not maintained by good intentions, it is maintained by perception, the perception that your will is law, your decisions final, and your chains unbreakable. If you allow even one act of open resistance, you tell the world that your rule is negotiable. And once power is negotiable, it is already lost. But there are poisons even more subtle than defiance. Some do not strike openly, but eat away at your foundations from within. They smile at your kindness, then repay it with betrayal. They call themselves ambitious, but their ambition is aimed at you. That is part 4, the ruthless truth about ingratitude and disloyal ambition. Ingratitude and the fire of ambition. If flattery blinds you and defiance humiliates you, then ingratitude and ambition are poisons that rot you from within. They are not loud like rebellion. They do not strike like assassins. They corrode slowly, feeding in silence until your throne is hollow beneath you. The rot of ingratitude Machiavelli observed a cruel paradox. The more you give, the more you weaken yourself. Because every gift, every kindness, every sacrifice you make plants a seed of resentment. Gratitude is temporary, debt is permanent. And those who feel indebted often repay kindness with betrayal, not because they are evil, but because they are desperate to free themselves from the weight of owing you. He wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars, and deceivers. They shun danger and are greedy for profit." Harsh words, but history proves them. History's ungrateful children. Caesar pardoned enemies only to be cut down by them in the Senate. Kings spared rivals only to face them again in rebellion. Even Machiavelli himself, loyal to Florence, was discarded, imprisoned, and tortured when new rulers took power. His service forgotten in a single night. Kindness is rarely remembered. Power always is. Modern ingratitude. Today, the masks are different, but the story is the same. The friend you carried through crisis who disappears once they're strong. The partner who grows cold after years of sacrifice. The employee who forgets the mentor who built them, now competing against you. Gratitude does not bind. It dissolves the moment self-interest whispers a better path. The Machiavellian counter to ingratitude. So how do you protect yourself? Not by expecting thanks, but by eliminating the need for it. Expect betrayal. Be surprised by loyalty, not by treachery. Forge necessity. Make sure people rely on you not out of gratitude, but because without you, they cannot stand. Punish betrayal swiftly. Ingratitude left unpunished teaches others that treachery carries no price. Do not build loyalty on sand. Build it on chains of necessity. The fire of disloyal ambition. If ingratitude rots slowly, disloyal ambition burns like wildfire. Ambition itself is not dangerous. Properly directed, it strengthens kingdoms and businesses alike. But ambition that grows beyond your control is fatal. Machiavelli warned that ambitious men must either be bound tightly or crushed entirely. To let them rise freely, is to dig your own grave. Ambition in history. Consider Julius Caesar. His rise was fueled by ambition, but so was the plot that killed him. His allies were ambitious too, and their ambition would not let him live. Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's idol, understood this. He rewarded ambition when it served him, but the moment ambition became dangerous, he cut it down without hesitation. Modern ambitions mask today. Ambition hides in polite smiles. The colleague who calls you friend while waiting for your stumble. The business partner dreaming of your position. The partner who claps at your success but secretly envies it. At first, it's small, a joke, a spark, but ambition, once left free, grows into fire, and fire does not ask permission before consuming. The Machiavellian counter to ambition. So how do you master ambition before it consumes you? Feed loyal ambition. Give those tied to you room to grow, but only if their success depends on yours. Distract rivals. Assign dangerous competitors to tasks that drain them without empowering them. Crush betrayal early. The moment ambition turns against you, hesitate and you die. Better to be ruthless once than to be destroyed slowly. The uneasy realization. Think of your own life. Who around you seems supportive but hungers for your place? Who accepts your help but dreams of freedom from your shadow? Machiavelli would say, never ignore ambition. To tolerate it is to feed it. To feed it is to one day kneel before it. The fourth brutal lesson. Ingratitude robs you of loyalty after the fact. Ambition robs you before it even begins. One forgets what you gave, the other resents what you have. Both, if unchecked, guarantee your fall. But the deadliest poison is not in others. It hides within yourself. It is not betrayal, flattery, or ambition that destroys most rulers. It is the illusions they craft in their own minds, the lies they choose to believe. That is part 5, Machiavelli's final warning, the ruthless truth about self-delusion, the fatal illusion. Every ruler fears betrayal. Every leader dreads rebellion. Every lover fears abandonment. But Machiavelli revealed a darker truth. The most fatal poison does not come from others. It comes from within. It is self-delusion. The lies you whisper to yourself, the illusions you build to shield yourself from reality. It is not your enemies who destroy you first. It is your refusal to see the world as it truly is. The trap of imagination. Machiavelli wrote, "Many have imagined republics and principalities that never existed in truth. It is more useful to follow the real truth of things than the imagination of them." That single warning has shattered kings, generals, and lovers across centuries. They believed illusions, illusions of eternal loyalty, illusions of endless love, illusions of unshakable thrones. They mistook their fantasies for reality, and reality punished them. History's deadly illusions. Consider Louis XVI of France. He believed his crown was divine, untouchable. His illusion ended beneath the guillotine. Nicholas II of Russia trusted in the loyalty of his people. His illusion ended in a cellar with bullets tearing through his family. Countless generals believed their armies invincible. Their illusions ended in the mud, surrounded by corpses. The pattern is brutal and clear. Illusions blind, and blindness kills. Modern masks of illusion. But illusions are not confined to monarchs. They suffocate ordinary lives every day. The partner who believes love alone will sustain a relationship, ignoring the slow rot of neglect and resentment. The business owner who thinks yesterday's success guarantees tomorrow's survival, blind to rivals sharpening their claws. The ambitious man who believes his friends will always support him, unaware they are secretly waiting for him to stumble. Illusions comfort. They silence fear. But they also strip away vigilance, and vigilance is the first defense of power. the Machiavellian counter to illusion. How do you protect yourself from your own blindness? Machiavelli's answer was ruthless clarity. See the world as it is, not as you want it to be, not as others tell you it is. Ask yourself, if all collapsed tomorrow, what truth would I wish I had seen sooner? Test loyalty. Never assume devotion. Place others in situations where their true nature is forced into daylight. Embrace suspicion. Paranoia is not weakness. It is survival. Question praise. Doubt comfort. Ask, who benefits if I believe this? Study collapse. Read not just of victories, but of downfalls. Ask, what illusion blinded them, and where in my own life do I carry the same blindness? Illusion is a shield. Made of paper, it looks protective. It feels comforting. But the first strike of reality slices it apart. The dark mirror. So look closely into your own reflection. What illusions do you cling to? Do you believe someone will stay loyal forever without necessity binding them? Do you believe your success is permanent? Do you believe enemies cannot touch you? Every illusion is a noose waiting to tighten, and the cruelest truth is this: you may be the one pulling it. The fifth brutal lesson: flattery blinds, defiance spreads, ingratitude corrodes, ambition consumes. But self-delusion, it destroys from the inside out. You can fight enemies, you can crush rivals, but you cannot escape yourself. The man who lies to himself is already conquered. The ruthless conclusion. This is Machiavelli's final warning. The one who sees reality as it is, harsh, unfair, dangerous, will always rule over the one who hides behind illusions. Do not mistake fantasy for safety. Do not mistake comfort for control. Strip away the lies, even when the truth terrifies you, because only then will you be untouchable. So I ask you, what illusions are you still clinging to? Which lies do you tell yourself because the truth is too heavy to carry? Comment below. Do you believe Machiavelli was too ruthless, or was he the only one honest enough to reveal the truth? And before you leave, subscribe to Ruthless Psychology, the community for those who dare to see the world as it truly is, not as we wish it to be, because the game of power has no mercy for the blind.